Grace Report, happy Thanksgiving for those in the United States. How's everyone doing? How was your Thanksgiving? I'll wait for a few more people to trickle in. What is up, Jules, Tammy, Wendy, Shelly, Matthew with the happy spooky giving, Nerd Report in the house, Joanne, what is up? Matthew goes, happy report giving, Lewis. How was everyone's day today? And is everyone in a food coma in the States here from Thanksgiving? I'm kind of in one, and I didn't have turkey because I'm not a meat eater. I had a great pad thai from a Thai restaurant. It was pretty good. And I'm very particular about my Thai pad. Or pad Thai. I said it backwards. Matthew goes, good and delicious food. That's what counts. Gene, Rick, what is up? How's it going? Joanne goes, we had snow and much more for tomorrow. That is cool if you like snow. Because I know some people that live in the snow do not like the snow. We kind of had a nice day today. Actually, it was a nice day today. Because it was kind of gloomy. I know last weekend they said we were supposed to get like a ton of rain. It did rain, but not what I was expecting. So it's been kind of overcast the last couple of days, but today was kind of sunny. Even with it overcast, being overcast, it was still kind of warm. What is up, Bernadette? How's it going, Leonore? Carol, what is up? Wendy. Joanne goes, hate it. I don't like brushing snow off the car. Gunner Girl, what is up? Gene, Rick, thank you for that super sticker of the fitness pair with a cup of coffee. Thank you, Gene Rick. Hearts for Gene Rick, guys. And I love that fitness pair. Carol got 6 inches of snow. Wow. I mean, I probably would like snow for one day because I don't see it too often here in SoCal. So snow wouldn't bother me too much, but probably after a couple of days, yeah, it will get to me. But I prefer the cold over the heat. So I don't know. We'll see. But I do like this time of year. It's not too hot. I don't like the summertime. Leonard, thank you for that super sticker as well. The fitness pair, and he's blushing. Thank you, Leonore. Hearts for Leonore as well. Thank you, Leonore. Fitness pair looks so cute. True. Carol goes, it's great for making snowmen. So if you guys like are throwing snowballs. Or I've seen people like they've had I don't know what you call it. Like they would make rubber ducky shape out of snow. It's like I don't know what you call it. You stick the snow in there and you press it and it rubber duckies or hearts. That look cool. Or ice skating. I've never done ice skating, so I'd probably fall a bunch of times. Matthew goes, Lewis is thankful for Lisa saw the Facebook post. Thank you, Matthew. Wendy goes, do you want to make a snowman? Great times growing up. Joanne goes, snow sculptures, OS snowmen or snowmen. I've never, like I said, I've been to the mountains where there's snow, but I've never I think I've made a snowman maybe once or twice, but pretty much that's about it. The extent is the mountains. I've never driven in it. I can officially say that. As always, guys, Skeleduck. Believe it or not, he is somewhere in this frame. I'm going to say frame. He is in the frame. So, if you guys don't know who Skeleduck is, for those that are lurking, because I think everyone chatting knows who Skeleduck is, he is pictured in my upper left hand corner, might be your upper right hand corner. That is what he looks like, and I hide him in the screen. Background wise in this studio, it's kind of hard because I'm running out of places, so he is in the screen. I'm giving you guys that hint. I probably shouldn't have, but that is what he looks like, and I do hide him every stream. Just remind me before the end of the stream because I will forget, and I have. Bernadette going the Pinche Skeleduck. Also, too, if you guys are looking for movies to watch, Alien Romulus is on. I think Chris saw Alien Romulus is on Hulu. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. Finally got a chance to finish Penguin on Max. It's amazing. I hate to say it that came out of the Batman movie because I wasn't a fan of Robert Pattinson's Batman, but Penguin is amazing. Don't let the first Batman shy you away from it. Sophia Falcone, the actress that plays her, is amazing. She's amazeballs. She was fit for the role. Colin Farrell, he blew it out of the ballpark. If you guys haven't seen it, you've got to catch it. They need to step up for Batman Electric Boogaloo with Robert Pattinson, number 2. They need to step it up because it's going to throw the series Penguin out the door if they don't step it up with the movie. Bernadette over there on my Twitch. If you guys are more of a Twitch person, I also stream simultaneously on Twitch, and I think Bernadette dropped it in the chat somewhere. But if you guys want to follow me over there, that's cool too. There's some, I'm not going to give it away, but there's some twists and turns. I'll say that much, and that's about it. But like I said, if you have not seen it and have Max, check it out. It's amazing. Terrifier 3 is on VOD for those of you that like to buy movies. I don't know exactly what streaming service that's going to come on because it's kind of like an independent. It was released by a few different I do know it said Screenbox, but I don't have Screenbox, but I don't know which other platforms. So I'm waiting for that. Lisa Boo, thank you for gifting 1 membership. Welcome, Julie N, to the Wolfpack. Hearts for Lisa Boo and the new Wolfpack member. Thank you, Lisa Boo. If you're looking for a Thanksgiving movie, because you want to keep it spooky, there is Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. I think it's still on Netflix. It should be. There's also other ones. I have an article. I'm going to start off with this while we still wait for people to trickle in. And I'll get into the Thanksgiving ghost stories and myths and legends. But the only really creepy Thanksgiving movie that I know of is Thanksgiving by Eli Roth. It was amazing. So I did find an article for the 16 best Thanksgiving horror movies. Thanksgiving is an undervalued holiday set directly in between Halloween and Christmas. Horror fans are still lamenting the passing of the former, while businesses want us to move on to the latter. It's true. As soon as Halloween, November 1st comes around, boom, that's when the Christmas music hits the grocery stores. I do not miss that. Oh my God, I do not miss that. Literally, you have 2 months of Christmas music. I do not miss that at all. You literally have, in fact, before even Halloween is even gone by, in some cases, you have Christmas decor already in stores. So it's like, forget about what just passed. We're going to go straight into Christmas. There's houses that weekend, they automatically already have their Christmas lights on. I like Christmas lights, though. I like to see the creativity of people and what they put out. Thanksgiving is also undervalued for its horror movie potential. The gatherings of family and friends are perfect setups for slasher flicks. Like Home Sweet Home, which I've never seen. The traditional of overeating goes well with body horror, as seen in one of the most memorable scenes in Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. Cannibal movies also fit nicely into the idea of a holiday feast. Plus, the holiday's mascot is the ever menacing turkey. You'd think more filmmakers would capitalize on an underused setting like Thanksgiving. I would think so, yes. I mean, we do have our Christmas movies, but there's not too many Thanksgiving movies that I know of. But this list will tell us. Many of the horror movies that fully dedicate themselves to the Thanksgiving premise tend to be campy and low budget, but there are a lot of horror movies, not just Thanksgiving ones, that are campy and low budget. Don't get me wrong. Some of them are great. Some of them, though, you can really tell that it's low budget, but hey, you can't, they're trying to put a movie out. I give them props for that. Nothing wrong with low budget. For fans of the horror genre who need a few flicks to drown out and potentially chase away annoying relatives during the holiday festivities, campy and low budget shouldn't be a problem. The best Thanksgiving horror movies, according to Creepy Holiday, like I said earlier, the only one that I can remember is Thanksgiving. This is Blood Freak from 1972. I have never heard of this. What's Thanksgiving without a little turkey? Well, how about Thanksgiving with a movie about a vampiric turkey-headed man who is addicted to the blood of DAs, drug addicts? That's the basic plot of Blood Freak. Okay. A goofy and trashy proto-slasher that is essentially a cross between Reefer Madness that came out in 1936 and a gory trauma movie. Blood Freak isn't set on Thanksgiving, but the amount of turkey nonsense you'll see in it will pair perfectly with the leftover turkey sandwiches you enjoy days after your Thanksgiving feast is over. Home Sweet Home. I think I've heard of this, but I've never seen it. It sounds familiar. Perhaps, I don't want to show that picture, perhaps the only Thanksgiving themed horror movie ever directed by a woman, Nettie Pena. Home Sweet Home is a slasher movie about a drug-crazed mental patient who slaughters people celebrating Thanksgiving at an isolated ranch. Home Sweet Home is one of the many horror movies of its time, trying to cash in on the holiday horror theme established by Black Christmas, 1974, Halloween, that came out in 1978, and My Bloody Valentine, 1981. Black Christmas is an amazing film. If you haven't seen it, I would check it out. Also, there is a fan film by Dave McCrae. He did a 2-part, It's Me, Billy, for Black Christmas. If you do, and it's on YouTube and it is free. So if you do decide to watch those, watch Black Christmas first and then move on to the other two. Obviously, we know Halloween. Halloween brought us the slasher. Iconic film. Right after Halloween in 1978, we got Friday the 13th. We've got Terror Train, Prom Night, My Bloody Valentine. My Bloody Valentine, I've seen both the original and the remake. They are both good. I mean, you can't really go wrong with a person in a mask. Slasher, one of my favorite subgenres of horror. Regardless, it's still a fun movie to watch late at night when you had your fill of Thanksgiving festivities. I am going to have to check this one out. This one has been off my radar. Blood Rage, 1987. During Thanksgiving, many people go home to be with their family. In the slasher film Blood Rage, Todd, played by Mark Soper, escapes from a mental hospital. The last one's about a dude in a mental hospital. On Thanksgiving Day and journeys back home to be with his mother and brother. The problem is, Todd was framed for murder by his twin brother, Terry, also played by Mark Soper, and Terry uses Todd's escape as cover for a night of bloody killings. Blood Rage was a lesser-seen horror flick for years, but it eventually became a cult classic for the Thanksgiving season. Addams Family, I forgot. Yes, Addams Family Values. I forgot about this one. This one's hilarious. I love Addams Family. I love Wednesday. I even love the new Netflix Wednesday with Jenna Ortega. I just love the Addams Family. They're a family. If you love spooky, there's They're the family to like. The much darker and less campy sequel to 1991's The Addams Family seems Wednesday, Christina Ricci, and Pugsley, Jimmy Workman, set off to summer camp where the two Addams children are bullied for their weird, deathly appearances. I think, is this the one where they lock both of them in, like Wednesday and Pugsley, and they were watching like happy movies? Like, I'm going to use the Barbie movie, for example, because I can always picture Wednesday. Like, they locked them up all night long watching, I don't know, with the Brady Bunch and stuff like that. I think it was this one. And that's horrific to them. Wednesday is cast as Pocahontas in the camp's Thanksgiving play, and Pugsley is cast as a turkey. Wednesday resists playing the role, but she eventually relents so long as she can rain holy hell on the entire affair. Alien Abduction Incident in Lake County, 1998. Alien Abduction Incident in Lake County is a TV movie and belongs to a very unique subgenre of alien horror Thanksgiving movies. The pseudo-documentary is presented as containing footage from the night of the McPherson family disappearance. The McPhersons, a typical American family living in Lake County, Montana, sit down for Thanksgiving dinner only to be interrupted by an alien ship landing in a nearby field. Directed by Dean Aliotto, it is a remake of his 1889 film. 1989, Lisa. Low-budget video, The McPherson Tape. I think this sounds familiar. The McPherson Tapes does sound familiar to me. The documentary style confused people, many of whom insisted that the 1989 original was authentic and that the remake was some sort of government disinformation attempt to discredit an actual documentary about an alien landing at Thanksgiving. Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. What? It's like poltergeist. And it's spelled like poultry. Yeah, poltergeist. There you go. Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, Part 2. Carol goes, I'm glad Thanksgiving is over. I'm wiped out from all the cooking and cleaning everything before and after the dinner. Lisa Boo goes, The Revenge of the Chickens. Yeah, that's another one. The Revenge of the Chickens. The night the chickens went crazy. Wendy goes, no pardon for you. And then Leonore hasn't eaten yet. Poltergeist isn't really about Thanksgiving, but with a lack of true Thanksgiving horror movies in the world, it became associated with the holiday by default. And besides, some people eat chicken for Thanksgiving dinner, right? Well, in Poltergeist, the chickens might eat you. Or rather, chicken-possessed zombie people might eat the motley crew working at a fast food restaurant built atop a Native American burial ground. This horror comedy musical was directed by Lloyd Kaufman, one of the co-founders of Troma. If you know Troma, then you know what you're getting into. If not, then tread carefully. This is gory and goofy stuff. Thanksgiving, which came out in 2008. I think the further I go down this list, the cornier the movies get. I love it. Thanksgiving, which was released in 2008. Thanksgiving is an extremely low budget, reportedly only $3,500 horror comedy about a killer turkey who terrorizes a group of college students on their way home for Thanksgiving. The undead turkey named Turkey, spelled Turkie, was created centuries ago by a vengeful Native American as a way to get back at the white people who had dishonored him. Kind of like, similar to a Wendigo? Now resurrected when a dog pees on his grave. I am not making this stuff up. Turkey is back to kill anything and everything in his path. Thanksgiving is a goofy horror trash for people who love the so bad it's good style horror movies. I don't know about that one. I'm sorry. This is Christy, 2014. Justine Haley Bennett is a college student who spends the Thanksgiving break almost entirely alone on campus, with the only other people who haven't gone home for the holidays being a security guard and a groundskeeper. Justine suddenly finds herself targeted by a cult of killers who are obsessed with murdering religious people, whom they refer to as Christies, with Christy being derived from a Latin phrase meaning follower of God. In the face of constant cyber harassment and real life threats, Justine is forced to battle the cult single handedly. Hold on, I'm going to skip some of these because some of these get bad as it goes on. All right, we'll go Pilgrim because I feel like Pilgrim is more. Julianne goes, Thanksgiving sounds like my self-esteem when I used to go to Thanksgiving with my family. Leonore goes, Turkey's Revenge. So they have derelicts or derelicts. I think I've heard that. I'm saying it so wrong. I know I am. I've heard this one before. It's about a dysfunctional family. They have Escape Room, which I think I did see this one. They do mention this one as a Thanksgiving movie. I don't know why, but they do. Oh, it's because Escape Room takes place in late November during the Thanksgiving break for college student Zoe Davis. At first, Zoe and 5 other people think they are playing an escape room for a cash prize, but they quickly realize that losing means death. They also realize that they were picked for a reason because the trapped rooms each represent a moment in a player's life. I think I've seen this one. Pilgrim. This is a self-contained 90-minute slow burn horror film that also just happens to be an episode of the Hulu TV series Into the Dark. The plot involves a mother who invites 2 actors who portray pilgrims into her home for an educational Thanksgiving experience. However, the pilgrims never break character, and suddenly it seems like they might not be actors at all. Pilgrims leans into the campiness of the whole situation, delivering one of the more memorable installments of Hulu's series of horror movies. Black Friday. I do remember when this came out, and I wanted to see it, and I still haven't seen it because I forgot about it. It does have Bruce Campbell in it, and Michael Jai White, and I wanted to see it, and I forgot about it. So now this is reminding me. The day after Thanksgiving, popularity known as the shopping holiday Black Friday. Even though I feel like nowadays Black Friday is kind of different because like Amazon's been having Black Friday sales, I think, since last week. And I know Walmart too, they start them early, like they do weekly things instead of a thing all on one day. So it's not like it was back then. It's awful. You have to get up way too early and fight crowds of people in stores for limited merchandise when you should really be sleeping and resting after a hard day of eating turkey and stuffing or dressing. Instead of participating in Black Friday, why not stay home and watch the Bruce Campbell horror comedy Black Friday? You'll witness shoppers turn into zombie-like monsters by alien parasites, which is way better than anything a real store has to offer. Which I did Black Friday once and never again. Trixie, how's it going? Never again. It's all online. I will never do Black Friday ever again. The amount of people, it's like walking like this because there's so many people. And then the lines just to check out is crazy. So this is Thanksgiving. It's Eli Roth's. It's a pretty cool slasher. I was gonna say thriller slasher. It has a cool cool slasher in it. Following in the simple and iconic yet surprisingly underutilized. It was what was it? It was like with the Grindhouse films. I think it was one of the like a little short inside of one of those way back then, and then he finally put it into fruition. Following the simple and iconic yet surprisingly underutilized naming invention of holiday horror movies like Halloween, April Fool's Day, Memorial Day, etc., Thanksgiving quickly established itself as the Thanksgiving horror movie with the release in 2023. This whodunit style slasher might not be as grimy as the fake trailer inspired by, but it is a lot of fun for fans of Eli Roth and his style of fun, funny, and bloody horror. Oh my God, guys, there's a Thanksgiving 3. Then there's the Last Thanksgiving. What? Amityville Thanksgiving? Oh my God, they went crazy. Amityville Thanksgiving. Julie Ann goes, I did Black Friday every year for 10 years because of my mother. Wendy has done it twice. Holy crap, Carol, you had a bunch of pie. That's awesome. Those all sound good. She goes, pumpkin pie, pumpkin mousse pie. That actually sounds really good. Chocolate cream pie, apple pie, and a lemon meringue pie. And for those pies that needed whipped cream, I made homemade whipped cream. That's amazing, Carol. Wendy goes, I did Thanksgiving for years when I moved from my birthplace, family roots and ties. So glad that chapter and verse is closed. Joanne goes, we had to be off campus by 2 a.m. It's weird though, because I feel like they don't let you stay there during break when there's a Thanksgiving break, but there's always movies about kids being left behind, and then they make it into like a horror movie or like a touching story type of thing. But for those of you that are looking for spooky Thanksgiving movies, there they were. Some of them were super campy, like Thanksgiving, Amityville Thanksgiving, The House Haunts Dinner. I don't know what else to think of. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong link. Hold on, guys. Joanne goes, we had lab studio to work in, so special pass, but out by 2. Ah, got you. So if you know me, I try to keep it spooky all year round. Thanksgiving is no different. Spirits of the Harvest, Thanksgiving, hidden ghost stories and folklore. While Thanksgiving today celebrates the arrival of the Pilgrims and their first successful harvest, life in the early colonies was fraught with hardship and loss. Disease, starvation, and brutal weather were commonplace, and the Pilgrims' survival was a tenuous, delicate balance. In this environment, tales of spectral encounters and eerie occurrences were common. Ghost sightings among the early pilgrims. And I think Carol, it's funny because I think Carol shared this article with me, but I had found it too. So thank you, Carol. Some of the articles I am sharing today, Carol had shared with me. Ghost sightings among the early pilgrims. Many pilgrims believed that the spirits of those who died in the harsh early winters would wander the colony, watching over their surviving family members, or at times haunting those who had taken advantage of their death. Legend had it that during the first winters in Plymouth, settlers reported hearing whispers and footsteps echoing through the barren and darkened woods. Families huddled close, praying they would not see the restless souls who wandered the village at night. In Plymouth's early years, a string of illness and deaths ravaged the small settlement, leading to a common belief that their troubles were the result of unseen forces punishing them for entering the new land. These ghost stories added a sense of foreboding to the Thanksgiving feast itself, a time of both gratitude and uneasy contemplation of those who were no longer there to join them. Today, the town of Plymouth holds ghost tours throughout the fall season, preserving the mysterious atmosphere of those early years and the belief that the spirits of the past may still linger. Native American myths of fall season. I have talked about the Wendigo in the past. I think that is one of the weirdest, not the weirdest, but I feel like it's one of the scariest mythical creatures or in folklore. And thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome Trixie, Logical Spark, Osiris, Wicca Lights My Path, Cat to the Wolf Pack, hearts for Anne and the new and returning Wolf Pack members. Thank you, Anne. I appreciate that. The arrival of autumn and the celebration of the harvest also held spiritual meaning in many Native American cultures, honoring the earth cycle and the spirits that governed it. Stories varied between tribes, but one common theme echoed: a connection between the living world and the spirit realm was especially potent during the season. The Wendigo and the spirits of the cold season. The Algonquin speaking tribes tell of the Wendigo, a malevolent spirit associated with the onset of winter and the starvation that could accompany it. The Wendigo embodies greed and insatiable hunger, often appearing in times of scarcity. Though unrelated to Thanksgiving, its association with the colder months and the harvest season made it a spectral presence in the minds of early settlers, influencing how they prepared for the upcoming harsh winter. No, I don't want to join your mailing list. The corn spirit and the cycle of life and death. When I saw the corn spirit, it reminded me of the children of the corn, and one who walks the rows. In some Native American traditions, corn was believed to embody the spirit of life, and its harvesting was a sacred act that had to be done with deep respect. The corn mother was a revered figure, and after each harvest, rituals were held to honor her sacrifice, asking for protection and renewal. Even today, some Native American communities continue to honor the corn spirit, celebrating the cycle of life, death, and rebirth that Thanksgiving symbolizes. Hug, what is up? Thanksgiving and the supernatural, a time for reflection. November has long been a month of reflection, carrying the lingering energy of Samhain and the harvest festivals of old. It's the beginning of winter, a time when communities gather and share their fears, dreams, and tales of those who came before. Even Thanksgiving, often thought of a purely joyous occasion, it's touched by a sense of melancholy and remembrance as families pause to honor those who are no longer with them. As we gather for Thanksgiving in modern times, we are connected to rich tapestries of history and mystery, layered with folklore, superstition, and ghostly tales that echo through the ages. Each shared meal, every moment of gratitude links us back to a time when people looked to the stars, to the spirits, and to the land, giving thanks for both the seen and the unseen, embracing the mystery of Thanksgiving. For those of us drawn to mystery and history, Thanksgiving holds a deeper meaning. It's a holiday that not only celebrates abundance, but also acknowledges the cycle of hardship, survival, and renewal. From the eerie stories of pilgrims, ghosts, to the sacred legends surrounding the harvest, Thanksgiving is a holiday steeped in legends that inspire us to look beyond the feast and consider the spirit of season. As you gather with family or embark on your own Thanksgiving journey, take a moment to honor the harvest legend, ghostly encounters, and myths that make this season more than just another holiday. These stories remind us that Thanksgiving is as much a mysterious adventure as it is a celebration where history, legend, and spirits intertwine. I never thought of Thanksgiving as a spooky holiday, but that article kind of was, yeah, it makes sense that there are myths and legends that go pretty much. There's a myth and legend for everything if you think about it. Jules goes more than just about food. Exactly. Because that's pretty much what it's basically a time where we gather with friends and family too as well. It's not just food, um but I never thought, like I was saying, Heather, whatever, how's it going? Like I was saying before, I never really looked at that about Thanksgiving. So it's kind of cool to see like different stories. So as you can tell, everything today is about Thanksgiving, but spooky. Um, so this is about a Thanksgiving ghost flags a lay-high train. On Thanksgiving Day, 1902, a southbound train was nearing Geneva, New York, and came upon the Marsh Bridge. As the train approached the bridge, the engineer and firemen on board heard a piercing scream. When they looked up, they saw a white figure standing to the east of the bridge, frantically waving its arms. The engineer brought the train to a stop, as he did so, they heard another scream, and the phantom disappeared before their eyes. The two men got out of the train and inspected the track and surrounding areas for the screaming weirdo they saw just moments before. Nothing was out of place on the track, and there was no sign of any person or thing nearby. As they started across the bridge, they heard the shriek one final time. The train pulled into the station, and the men shared their odd experiences with the other railroad workers. They learned that there was an accident at the bridge years prior. The engineer and fireman both died when the train went off of Marsh Bridge. The article said that the fireman's body was lost to quicksand and never recovered. Ever since that accident, a shrieking phantom is said to be spotted on the bridge every year around Thanksgiving Day. Did any of this really happen? Let me tell you, it was not easy to try and figure out if the events mentioned in the article from 1902 really happened or where it happened. I was starting to think it was all just urban legend, but I did find an actual event that very closely matches the details in the story. On March 29th, this is a weird placement of this clipping. On March 29th, 1873, a train left Syracuse at 7:45 p.m., heading toward Rochester on the Auburn Road. Within half a mile of the town of Geneva, the train ran into a slush of water, which was which had washed out a bridge, over Marsh Creek. The locomotive, tender, and baggage car fell off the track and down into the floodwaters. They practically disappeared under the water. Amazingly, the passenger car stayed on the track, and none of the passengers or the rest of the crew were seriously injured. Thank goodness. The same could not be said for the engineer and firemen. Both disappeared, and due to the raging waters, attempts to locate their bodies could not be made immediately. The body of the engineer, Ignatius Bwelte, was found on the afternoon of Sunday, March 30th. The body of the fireman, Augustus Sipple, was found quite a distance away on March 31st. The incident became known as the Marsh Creek casualty or the Geneva disaster. Consequently, the families of both men sued the railroad due to negligence and failing to properly maintain the bridge. Both families were later awarded money. I couldn't find any connection to Thanksgiving Day. Maybe this is one of those urban legends meant to remind people how fleeting life can be, or maybe the spirits of engineer Bwelte and fireman Sipple were simply trying to warn other railroad men of the dangers of the bridge. That is crazy. Like literally the train tracks like this. That's crazy that unfortunately 2 lives were lost, but the passenger car did not fall in. Heather, whatever goes sad, it is sad. But there's no connection that it still an interesting ghost story. Not sure if it has a connection with Thanksgiving, but there is some truth to that story. Oh my gosh, ads. Darn New York Post in your ads. So, how my grandpa's Thanksgiving ghost story he tells each year led to us uncovering a 189-year-old murder mystery. It's a bit of an older article, but interesting nonetheless. A grandpa's haunting Thanksgiving ghost story appeared to help 2 brothers uncover a near 200-year-old murder mystery. Bill and Frank Watson were told a chilling tale about 57 Irish immigrants who passed at a railroad site in Pennsylvania during the cholera epidemic in 1832. The area is now known as Duffy's Cut, as the rail workers' boss was named Philip Duffy. It is a stretch of tracks located around 30 miles from Philadelphia. The brothers were told the chilling tale by their grandpa, a railroad worker, every Thanksgiving. They believed the workers died violently and not from cholera. Frank told CNN in 2010, this is a murder mystery from 178 years ago, and it is finally coming to the light of day. According to local legend, a man walking home from a tavern claimed to see mysterious green figures dancing in the mist in September of 1909. The documents quote the unnamed man as saying, "I saw with my own eyes the ghost of the Irishman who died with cholera a month ago, dancing around a big trench where they were buried. It's true, mister. It was awful." Frank inherited the railroad papers from his grandpa and said one of the documents said X marks the spot. They suspected that the files contained clues to the location of a mass grave. Bill and Frank delved deeper into the case. They started digging in 2002 and years later found forks and tobacco pipe shards. The brothers did believe struggling laborers would discard valuable items. Researchers in March of 2009 found a bone, raising suspicions that cholera may not have killed the rail workers. Teams also uncovered a skull that had been pierced by a bullet and cleaved by a hatchet. Bill, a historian, said we had no idea what percentage of these guys were murdered, but if we have 57, it's the worst mass murder in Pennsylvania history. He said the average age of the workers was around 22 years old. That is young. Forensics anthropologist Janet Moe, but back then also too, they didn't have child labor laws or anything like that. So you had children working too at the time, but still 22 years old. That's young to die. Forensics anthropologist Janet Moog or Monge said the case provided vital clues about the lives of Irish immigrants. She said it was a cruel and rugged existence that characterized the immigrant experience, and it speaks very broadly of the xenophobia that existed at the time. Those were coffin nails. Oh, I could show this. Coffin nails unearthed in a mass grave. Monge or Monge or Monge, Monge, discovered bones from at least 7 skeletons, including 4 skulls. She said one skull had a little divot on what would have been the side bone of the skull. That little divot is something that didn't happen when they excavated it out of the ground. The anthropologist speculated that one of the laborers may have been clunked on the head before they died. Researchers believe more bodies are underneath the surface. Bill Watson says the coffin has been shut with more than 100 nails per coffin. The remains of 5 men and 1 woman from those who died at Duffy's Cut were laid to rest at a ceremony in Pennsylvania in 2012. The body of a teenager, John Ruddy, who was from County Donegal, was repatriated to Ireland, and a burial took place in County Tyrone for Catherine Burns in October of 2015. Forensics believes that injuries to her skull indicated that she had been murdered. Duffy's Cut later became part of the Pennsylvania Railroad's main line. That is crazy. Lisa Bugos 30 was old for those days. True, because obviously they didn't have the medical technology that we have today. There weren't vaccines like we had today. I mean, people died of infection. People also too back then weren't as clean as we are nowadays. So that's another thing. I mean, obviously when we watch the Wild West in the movies or the Renaissance period, Victorian era, everyone looks so elegant, but you got to imagine that luckily in the TVs, we don't have smell-o-vision. Because after reading some things, it's like a family of 5 would use 1 tub of bathwater. They didn't really use soap. Some of the feminine affinities that they had back then were atrocious. So yeah, that it does make sense. I mean, we're looking at it now and go, oh my God, 22 is young, but true. Back then, a lot of people had passed young. Lisa Bugo, some stinky people. Wendy goes, my great-grandfather died in the 90s, got a signed letter from Jimmy Carter recognizing the older living residents of our town. That is super cool, actually. That is super cool. Wendy was asking the chat earlier. Hold on. I saw it. What topics are off limits at Thanksgiving? Jules goes political stuff. Wendy goes politics, religion, and Jules added no Diddy stuff. No phones at the table. Not sure if Heather Salvatore is in the chat, but what is up? I didn't see her pop up. Heather Salvatore, thank you for your PayPal. And also shout out to Heather whatever as well for the PayPal. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Heathers. Hearts for Heather whatever and Heather Salvatore. And Heather whatever goes for coffee, maybe. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. Heather Salvatore goes, you didn't know how people had their periods? No deodorant? No, I knew, but as a kid, when you're watching, you don't think of those things as a kid because I grew up watching Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I love the Renaissance period. I absolutely love the Renaissance. Knights of the Round Table, Kings and Queens. You got Lord of the Rings. Love that time period. But as a kid, you don't think of those things. You just see it glorified on movies, right? And you're like, oh my God, that'd be an awesome time to live. The honor, the gallantry, the whatnot. And then as you get older, you start thinking, oh yeah, there's no deodorant. Um, there people didn't keep themselves clean. A lot of the poor probably there weren't running like there's no plumbing. Um, stuff like that. So I never thought of the female affinity, the luxuries we have today, thank goodness. I don't think I ever want to go back in time, but I saw I get don't ask me why articles about that pop up, but Victorian style things you wouldn't want to use as a woman today or something. I forgot what it said, but something like that. And it pops up on my feed on Facebook. Don't ask me why. I don't look for that stuff. And then you start scrolling, you're like, they had to use that? Chamber pots, Lisa Boo, yeah, chamber pots. Teeth brushing, stuff like that, yeah. I mean, obviously the rich was able to get some type of, I'm assuming the rich was able to get something more than the poor, but then you had the poor that couldn't afford anything. But that just, if I ever go back in time, I mean, obviously they would accuse me of being a witch, so I probably wouldn't want to come back in time. I would probably off with her head. I don't want that happening, but that's just Heather, whatever goes, maybe the rich smelled like too much cologne, baby. Joanne goes, the poor still can't afford anything. True, even nowadays. Heather Salvatore goes, no using new tree branches. Matthew goes, they made their own perfume. I mean, there were no washing machines like we have now. I mean, to wash clothes, it was a bucket. And one of the, I don't know what you call those things, that steel grate you would, scrub your clothes on, and a bucket. I know there's some people that do that in some countries still, but Bernadette goes, I think in the medieval times or the Renaissance period, the rich used sticks to clean their teeth. I think so too. Washboard. Thank you, Wendy. Washboard. Thank you, Wendy, Julianne, and I need to fish. True. Joanne goes, if you were living then, it would be normal everyday life. It's true, because I wouldn't have known. I would not know anything. It would be just a way of life. But if I were to go back in time from this time period, I don't think so. Heather, whatever goes, I loved having a washboard, really gets spots out, but hard to find. Lisa Boo goes, that's why potpourri was so popular. I hate the smell of potpourri. I do. Probably want to, I think it's because it's everywhere. I just don't like the smell of it. Kyle goes, I once hooked up with a lady one night at her place on the res, and the house didn't have plumbing. Wow. Gunner Girl goes, they also used a bucket and a brush to wash clothes, but the water was black. Don't think they used soap. No, I don't think they did. Heather Salvatore goes, the fine fibers from trees to scrub teeth. Matthew goes, back then, the only way to get washboard abs is to put on an actual washboard. Chris, what is up? Joanne goes, if you went back, you would definitely be a witch. Exactly. They'll be like, off with her head. Immediately, what is this evilness? this is some type of witchcraft. Where did you come from? Yeah, they would go like that. No. Yeah, nah. And why are you so clean? You, where is this fresh scent coming from? Yeah. Exactly, Joanne, and nobody would believe me. No, they won't. They would lock me in the tower. Put her in the tower. Sorry, I watched too many of those movies. Heather Salvatore goes, you all need to come here to Deerfield, Massachusetts. Wendy goes, evil for sure. Yeah, definitely. I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no clue. They'll be like, what is this language you speak of? Sorry, I watched too many of those movies. As a kid, I was obsessed with the Renaissance period. So yeah. All right, so I've got 7 surprising stories about Thanksgiving. Bernadette goes, I can't with that for those times. Bumping smelly uglies? No, thank you. Kyle goes, potpourri is French for one who does not bathe. I hate the smell of potpourri. Ugh. So this is 7 surprising stories about Thanksgiving. And this article came out a couple of days ago. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and we've got 7 little known stories to tell at the dinner table this year. Learn why dry turkey is on the menu instead of cow tongue or raccoon. And meet the woman who spent 15 years trying to make Thanksgiving an official holiday. Consider adding banana to your seasonal spread and read about the return of a lost native language. Gather around the table to share these surprising tales of Thanksgiving history, food, and tradition. Why President Coolidge never ate his Thanksgiving raccoon. I mean, these aren't really spooky stories, but crazy stories. In November of 1926, President Calvin Coolidge received a unique Thanksgiving gift. A woman from Mississippi sent him a raccoon, noting that it had a toothsome flavor. She suggested it would make for a satisfying Thanksgiving dinner. Eating raccoon wasn't all that uncommon at the time. It's believed that the practice started with Native Americans and then passed to enslaved African people across the American South. The trend eventually spread north, first in low-income communities, and then becoming integrated into middle and upper-class diets. By 1926, raccoon was considered a food fit for the president, but Coolidge didn't eat his new furry friend. Instead, he gave her a collar and a name, Rebecca. The lucky raccoon stayed with the Coolidges for the rest of the president's term before being given to the Rock Creek Park Zoo. I don't think I could eat raccoon. I don't know about you guys. Thank goodness that is not a tradition anymore. Joanne goes, imagine raccoon is the greasy side. Yes. No. Yeah. No. I couldn't think. I mean, I don't eat meat now, but even when I did, there's no way I would eat a raccoon. I love raccoons. For decades, Southern states considered Thanksgiving an act of Northern aggression. While Thanksgiving is now celebrated as a time to come together, a 19th century campaign to establish it as a permanent holiday was interpreted as a culture war against the American South. They considered it a Northern holiday intended to force New England values on the rest of the country. To them, pumpkin pie, a Yankee food, was a deliciously or deviously sweet symbol of anti-slavery sentiment. Writers Ariel Noble. Oh, right, Ariel Noble. I was like, huh? When cow tongue was an essential Thanksgiving ingredient. What? Cow tongue. I know they have lengua tacos. I think when I ate meat years ago, I tried it. Never again. Yeah, because I've tried what was it, buche, or what was it called, buche, and lengua. I've tried both. Pumpkin, apple, and sweet potato pie are all common at today's classic American Thanksgiving, but in the 18th century, mincemeat pies took the center stage. These sweet and meaty pastries had one central ingredient that could be found among the most prestigious Thanksgiving spreads: cow tongue. And I've seen it in the grocery stores. I'm like, no, it does not look appetizing. Highly sought after, the rich, fatty meat was enjoyed by the upper class on special occasions and holidays. It's uncertain why the food faded in popularity, but it probably had something to do with the rise of muscle meats, reducing mincemeat. No cow tongue for me. Hell no. Nah. Matthew goes, people still eat. I thought you said raw, Matthew. I was like, people still eat cow tongue. Heather, whatever goes big on the ick. Kyle's like, licky. Joanne goes, I've seen cow tongue on the Xmas table a few times along with head cheese and boudin, blood sausage. Chris Barber goes, my neighbor was a hunter, so we used to eat a lot of game. Chris also added, I've eaten rabbit many times. I don't think I could. Kyle had cow tongue when he was in China. Yeah, I know. Yes. Asian cultures do like cow tongue, but no. And it's sad, like in a few, because I follow a guy, he tries to save dogs from the meat trade. And there's also a woman in Korea that does too, because there's restaurants there that serve dog meat. And if you've ever seen the videos, it's sad to watch. That's something I could never, ever. And it's sad how they treat them. And there's a guy I think he's in Thailand. I don't know where, but I follow him and he goes around trying to save the dogs. And it's sad to watch, but it's reality. That's what I could never. I could never. It's just something I could never fathom even. So if you ever go in those countries, make sure you know what you're eating. Why America's Thanksgiving turkey is so boring. Until the mid-19th century, American farmers gave little thought to how they bred their turkeys, writes Natasha Frost. You simply bred your birds with whatever suitable mates you could get your hands on. That was until the 1850s when hen fever hit America. People began to realize selectively breeding birds could yield a more delicious product for your plate. While most of the hen craze focused on chicken, people soon took an interest in turkeys too. Despite the many delicious and carefully bred birds that would come to be in the following years, one turkey breed, the broad white breasted, has taken center stage for the past 60 years, and it is not even very good. I've had venison years ago. Joanne goes, most animals for food are treated very badly. Yes, I've seen. I mean, that's why. I mean, I love animals. And I know there's the strict vegans. That the reason why they don't eat meat is because the animals. I know there's a lot of people that don't eat meat because of the animals, but they do show videos of how like the chickens, the chickens and the chicks are like the baby chickens are treated, and I'm like, or how they get minks off of animals and the conditions that they're treated, and I'm Matthew goes, the only turkey I wouldn't eat is a jive turkey. Chris has had squirrel. Kyle goes, it's a wild dog, but there are stories of more poor communities that would use domestics, but it's an outliner and not condoned in standard society. The struggle to revive the lost native language of Thanksgiving. In 1993, 20-something Jessie Little Doe Bard awoke from a dream. This was just one of several she had where her ancestors came to her, speaking Wampanoag, the native tongue of the Cape Cod-based Mashpee Wampanoag tribe. Bard couldn't understand them. At the time, there were no living speakers of Wampanoag. To Bard, their dreams were a sign. She believed they were part of a Wampanoag prophecy where their lost language would come back when they were ready for it. After years of struggling to piece together a language with no living speakers, in 2000, she published her thesis, An Introduction to Wampanoag Grammar. Since she established a 10,000-word dictionary and helped found an immersion school for Wampanoag children, bringing the language back to life. That's actually kind of cool. Read the original pitch for Thanksgiving from the editress who created the holiday. The first account of an American. Bernadette goes, aren't people supposed to taste like chicken? That's what I've heard. You stopped me in the track because I was like, huh? Yes, allegedly. There are those times like they always ask that question, like, would you eat somebody to survive? And I mean, I don't know. I don't think I could, but there's people that, I mean, there's stories of that happening. The first account of an American Thanksgiving tradition is from a letter written about a special pilgrim meal in 1621. The holiday quickly grew from a harvest supper to a Christian holiday, but by the 19th century, the feasting part became more important than the prayer. Governors in New England recognized statewide Thanksgiving days in late November or early December, but it wasn't yet an official holiday. Northern writer Sarah Josepha Hale was one of the main advocates for making Thanksgiving a widespread and official tradition. In 1947, Hale released her first official pitch for the holiday, casting it as not only a Christian day of rest and prayer, but an effort to unite a growing nation. Matthew goes, some fava beans and a nice shantae. Bernadette goes, I mean, there are cannibals. I know there's still cannibalistic tribes out there. Kyle. Why one Australian island celebrates Thanksgiving. On the tiny island in Norfolk, hundreds of miles from Australia's mainland, A small community celebrates their own spin on American-inspired Thanksgiving. Even stranger than the celebration is the backstory to the island's population. The descendants of mutineers from the British ship HMS Bounty, as well as several captive Tahitians, found a small community on the island in 1856. Today, many people on the island speak Norfolk. I'm almost pronouncing it as it's spelled. A combination of Tahitian in 18th century English. Visits from 19th century American whalers spread the idea of Thanksgiving, which Norfolk Island resident Isaac Robinson took a liking to. One year, he decorated the pews of the All Saint Church with palm leaves and lemons. After Robinson died at sea, the islanders carried on the tradition. Just like in an American Thanksgiving, food is central to the holiday on Norfolk, a fusion of traditional Thanksgiving foods and local cuisine, including banana pilaf, green bananas cooked in cream with dried bananas. That actually sounds good. Roast meats, traditional Tahitian fish salad, and coconut bread. The coconut bread and that banana pilaf sounds so good. There are the strange Thanksgiving stories or surprising Thanksgiving stories. Heather, whatever, go see, stay stinky, stay safe. Matthew goes, in New York, there are cannibalistic underground dwellers, chuds. All right, guys, I'm going to open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions, I'll give you a few more minutes to find Skeleduck again. Skeleduck is in this frame, somewhere in this frame. I became creative. So I'll give you a few more minutes. I think the last thing I watched on Netflix was the John Bonet story. Sad what happened to that little girl. It was a cool little series. Other than that, I haven't been watching much. I haven't had the time. I know there's things on my list that I need to check off. Heather, whatever goes, yes, John Bonet was quite sad. Her father is still alive, but her mom had passed away from cancer. So the father was there telling a story, and I was like, oh my God, I feel his pain. Kyle goes, Pantheon is on Netflix, so good. I'm trying to think of what else I watched. Not much. I haven't had time to watch anything. The one good thing about Thanksgiving is there's not that much traffic on the road when you drive. I know yesterday there was, but not today. Surprisingly, there wasn't too much traffic yesterday. Chris has been watching all the Alien movies. We have a Claremont here in California, in SoCal. Heather, whatever goes, true. Driving on Thanksgiving midday could be nice. Yes. The evening, though, depending on what direction you're coming from, there's traffic. Wendy goes, local honey here is amazing. Helps with immunity to allergies. I know there's that. What is that? That one honey, the Manuka honey or whatever the heck it's called, they said is like a cure-all kind of. Oh, I think there was a story of a bear. Since you guys are talking about bears, there was a story of a bear in the news that went through the trash. I don't know what city it was in, but it went through the trash for Thanksgiving leftovers. I think that's with any animal though. If there's a will, there's a way. They'll try to get anything. Like I had my bird feeder out and I had a squirrel and he was hanging upside down getting the bird seeds out of the bird feeder. I was like, bastard. But then I was like, that's okay cuz I like the squirrels. Heather Salvatore goes, it has to be local to your area to help with allergies. Oh, I did not know that. Huh. Oh, because of the bee. I got it. Makes sense. It does make sense. And Heather, whatever goes, my neighbor had trash everywhere yesterday. Bears need to sleep soon. They're looking for. Who's going Black Friday shopping tomorrow? Or who has gone Black Friday shopping online? I like honey in my tea. And then I like honey when they do I usually agave though. I usually use agave when you do those acai bowls. I like it in that too. Joanne goes, squirrels especially, they taste like chicken. No, not the squirrels. All right, guys, Skeleduck. I don't know if you guys have been looking. Have you been looking? Any idea? Kyle goes, I'm doing my Black Friday shopping on Steam and PSN or PlayStation Network. That is super cool. Carol goes, Freya the dog also had a good Thanksgiving dinner. Matthew goes, I'm backing the Hasbro HasLab Echo 1A and Ghostbusters figures. It needs 1,200 or something. That's cool. Joanna goes, honey is good with everything. Probably squirrel as well. All right, guys, Skeleduck, it's in the frame. I swear to you. He is literally, okay, you see my name right there? And you see the Sweet Nightmare? And then you kind of right underneath the Sweet Nightmare where my finger's pointed, that is where he is. He's right there. He is in the frame. Right there, guys, right where my finger's pointed. So you see like the Lisa and the Sweet Nightmares? He's right there. You see his head. Gooder Girl goes, I can't see your figure. It's the white under. Joanne goes, it looks more like he's concealed. Heather, whatever goes, sneaky ducky's hiding, hearing all this talk. Lisa B goes, Pinche Skelly. Kyle was like, come on, really? All right, guys, any last minute questions before I end this stream? I just went all Southern on you. Chris Barber, sorry to hear today's the 4th anniversary of my mom's passing. Thank you, Bernadette. Thank you, great stream. Lisa Boo, thank you. All right, guys, if there's no further questions, I am going to end this edition of Grayson Report. I will see you guys on the next one, which will be Saturday at probably 7:30-ish, 7:45-ish. Pacific Standard Time. I almost forgot what I was going to say. Or 10:30-ish, 10:45-ish Eastern Standard Time. Be there, be squared. Stay spooky, sweet nightmares, and you guys have a great rest of your week. I was going to say weekend. Week, evening. Have a happy Thanksgiving for those that celebrated today, and I will see you on the next one. Good night, guys, and thank you. Cannot talk. Good night, guys.